What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of our podcast. This is Adesh here, founder of STEMExpedition. Are you curious about never ending inventions and want a simple explanation of complex STEM ideas? Right on track. At STEMExpedition, we are back to explore the incredible world of high level science. Now, it's time to introduce the guest for this episode. We have with us Dr. Nidhi Krishna Shrivastava, assistant professor and postdoctoral researcher at Jagiellonian University, Poland. Dr. Nidhi completed her schooling, graduation, and post-graduation from Uttar Pradesh, India. She achieved an All India rank of 37 in NET JRF, and she completed her PhD from University of Delhi, India. She's also a postdoctoral research associate at IISER Mohali. Hello, Dr. Nidhi.
Hi, Adesh.
Well, now, let me introduce you to our host, our co-founder, Adrika.
Thank you, Adesh. Today's episode is basically focused around evolutionary biology sciences. And Dr. Nidhi, I must tell you, we are really happy having you here. So let's start with the most basic question. What, according to you, are the key pieces of evidence that supports the theory of evolution?
Okay, so your question is, what are the key pieces that support evolution?
Yeah, the theory of evolution.
So it's like a general textbook answer that I'm going to give you. Quite a lot of people know it. So there is this fossil record. When you dig in, there are like different eras with different type of fossils, different kind of animals living in different kind of age or evolutionary time scale. That is one. Second, that can be a vestigial organ. So organs that are not now required in our body, but are present in the vestigial form. So that makes us believe that it might be of benefit to our ancestors, like the nictitating membrane you have here in your eyes, the presence of appendix in humans. So this says that yes, we might have arise from a common ancestor. And also you have the genetic similarity among different species, which tells you that yes, every species might have something similar, so they might be coming from a similar ancestor. And what else can you talk about? Let me see. We have talked about, I think, yeah, these are the basic things that, yes, ontogeny, the developmental time scale. So how we develop is actually tells us like our history. Like human embryos resemble fish at one point of time. It resembles amphibians at one point of time. So your ontogeny, which is told as an evolution, ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. So it is one of the evidence that supports that yes, evolution do exist.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question. How does genetic variations play a role in the process of evolution?
Okay, so you're talking about genetic variation and evolution now. So let me be clear. Genetic variation is the thing that makes us unique. So Ardrika, you, me, and Adish, we all are Homo sapiens, but we are different. Thanks to our genetic variation, we are not alive. So genetic variation is like the thing. If there is like very limited genetic variation within a population, it can go extinct very easily. But suppose we have a population with a genetic diversity. Some individuals are resistant to heat, some can survive in cold, some can survive in polluted environments, some can fight infections. So when adversity hits, the entire population will not go extinct. So let's suppose there is a kind of infection that percolates in a population. So there are a group of individuals that are like that have genetic makeup that can help them fight better. So they will fight, they will be the ones surviving and they will reproduce, and hence the fitter organisms are carrying on in the earth and rest all go extinct. So in a long run, you have more fitter individuals contributing to the next generation and hence the evolution. Basically, genetic variation gives a platform to natural selection to work on. I hope I cleared it up.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. So having learned the basics, let's deep dive into the topic. Let's move on to the second part, that is the intermediate level, right? So,
Okay.
what are some current debates or areas of active research that fascinate you in the field of evolutionary biology sciences?
Oh, that is like a gem of a question. Thank you for asking this. The debate of evolutionary biology. It can go like, if you like start tracing down back things, the debate start with the Charles Darwin thing. He proposing the theory of evolution, people's revolting it. So there are two group of evolutionists. One who believe in evolution and one who say there is this creationist view that says no, there are like genetic diversity always available and the natural selection works on the pre-existing thing. There is nothing called as evolution per se. So their belief might have arisen from the fact that we cannot see macroevolution. We cannot see macroevolution working. We cannot see by our eyes apes turning into humans. And that's why these kind of people say evolution do not exist. But we do see evolution in microevolutionary perspective. We do see bacteria evolving fast. So for evolution to happen, you need reproduction to happen. So for bigger organisms like human beings, cat, lions, something like that, bigger mammals, the reproductive generation cycle is like too long for one to observe the changes from the eyes, and hence a debate. So people believe in evolution, some don't, some say it's just a hypothesis, some say no. So my belief, my take is it does happen. So it's not only the natural selection that is working on, maybe the mutations that are slightly accumulating in the population, creating again a lot of genetic variation, and then nature coming into play, selecting some, rejecting some, and things like this.
Yeah. So that's really thought provoking. And like having done the, I guess we have done the intermediate level, right? So
Mhm.
let's move on to the expert level. The first question arises is how do molecular techniques such as DNA sequencing contribute to our understanding of the evolutionary species?
Okay, cool. So DNA sequencing. So let me be clear. So I think so that everyone understands me. So DNA sequencing, what it is, we all have a genetic sequence, DNA. Every organism on Earth has DNA. So A, T, G, C. We have a sequence that codes for particular protein. Now, some of those proteins are conserved throughout. They are exactly same coded for bacteria than that, and they are exactly same coded in our body as well. Then there are proteins that change rapidly over time scales, and then there are very fast changing proteins. So DNA sequencing of various species and fossils allow us to trace back our ancestry. We can see what all are proteins that are conserved and wherein mutations are happening, what time scale they are happening, at what time the two groups diverge from the other, and hence we can construct a phylogenetic tree and trace back the ancestry. So perhaps DNA sequencing will help us understand like us better or evolution better.
Yeah. So, in the field of evolutionary biology sciences, what are some cutting edge research areas and some unanswered questions that yet to be answered?
Cool, cool. So some unanswered question: do macroevolution happen? Nobody has proved it yet in the laboratory. In science, the thing is like if you can prove it in a laboratory environment, it is a science. If you cannot, it is just a hypothesis. So do macroevolution exist? Question mark for you all to figure out. And there are opinions that I cannot like make my belief like fit in somebody else. No, I believe everyone in the earth should believe so. No, science does not progress that way. So, like you have seen origin of life being like Urey and Miller experiment. They created the chamber and the lightning and created the early Earth atmosphere and told us, you see the macromolecules being created, the or so, but this is not the thing that has been shown for macroevolution. Microevolution people has shown. So that is like a thing. If you like prove macroevolution happens, you are winning a Nobel Prize. And the cutting edge research might be the DNA sequencing is like perhaps the good tool. It is not only for studying evolution. Basically, it can help you make a tailor-made medicine from like it can see what your genetic makeup is and what to give you in advance so that you don't suffer a disease, you don't die of a disease. So maybe to understanding evolution, DNA sequencing is good, and also, as I say, prove macroevolution in lab.
That sounds brilliant. I especially love your energy over here. Like you're just so energetic, and thank you for helping
Because
us.
I want to see it happening. I want to see it happening, but the thing is, we cannot in our like lifetime scale because it is like a gradual change that you can see it in bacteria, you can see it in viruses. For like large mammals, for speciation, I don't know. We are documenting things. We are seeing this is, we know that group of individuals that reproduce are called as a species. And then we talk about sympatric speciation. We talk about allopatric speciation. We are doing lot of model organism, evolutionary genetics, trying to see if does it happen. And I don't know if anybody would have succeeded. But yes, one person has succeeded it in making a unicellular yeast into multicellular one, and that thing is like a recent thing. So that was a long-term yeast evolution wherein they were providing yeast to. So that experiment failed a lot of time. The cells of yeast was rising in size, but not are getting multinucleated. So basically multicellular yeast is not like getting formed, they die in that large cell thing. But then the one PhD scholar comes in with a background in physics. He says oxygen has a role to play, and he somehow changes the oxygen in the chamber and whatever something, and multicellular yeast. And that is like fascinating thing.
Yeah. So thank you, like really thank you helping us dive into that.
Well, now how about we let our fellow team members ask questions they encountered during this conversation?
Okay.
Hi, Dr. Nidhi. I am Isha, and I just loved what you said. And I have a question, which is, are there any limits to evolution?
Are there any limits?
Limits to evolution? Yes.
Limits. Let me frame it like my way. Are there any constraint to evolution? So yes, there
Yeah.
are constraint to evolution. Your natural surrounding, your like evolution has to be supported by nature. Like basically, a better fitted organism is the one that gets to reproduce, and if it is not fit, the nature will eliminate it. So constraint in evolution are the nature. Then there are developmental constraints. Then there are constraints can be many. Can you like tell me what type of constraint should I like talk about?
No, like in general.
So in general, I would say it's a natural thing. So evolution is not just organism accumulating mutations and changing its form. It's like nature reciprocating it back, and like either it will the environment, either it will help that organism flourish, or the condition might not be suitable enough for that kind of organism, and it will go extinct.
Okay, yeah, I got the point. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, listening to your conversation was like quite fun, and I got another question too. Um, Are there examples of animals or plants looking similar even if they're not related?
So there are lot of examples. So this is kind of something fact, Adesh. So let me tell you, me being a researcher, I don't remember the names and the species thing very like nicely. I am good with the concept, but not the like the similar thing. But yes, when you talk about this convergent evolution, so when we talk, it's like the same habitat supports same looking of individuals. Like if you go deep into the ocean, all of the organisms will be like flat to absorb the pressure coming from the water level. And so all of them are like flatlined, and not all of them will be fishes. They will belong to different phylums, but they have quite a similar body structure. Similarly, like aquatic things have like their own, then terrestrial thing, the things that are like growing in mountains, trees, they are not always same, but they share the conical structure. So this is what nature defines. The habitat defines what it supports. So kind of structure the nature supports is the kind of life form you get in there.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, that was one insightful session. Thank you, Dr. Nidhi. But
Thank
before
you.
we end, I pose one last question. For our
Okay.
listeners, especially the ones wanting to pursue a career in evolutionary biology, how do you recommend starting? From a high school interest to acquiring their PhDs, what programs, internships would you recommend?
Hmm. So you are asking me to like how do high school people go into this field? Okay. So the thing is, you start basic, you get some textbook knowledge, and in your graduation or your post graduation, if you want to like very interested in studying evolution, try getting the graduation degree or a post graduation degree from a institute which have a kind of lab, evolutionary biology lab, or the people microbial biology lab, somebody who studies evolution or your field of interest, so that not only the theoretical knowledge, you can like ask the professor and like can you spend some time in lab, talk to PhD students working there, and like see if you fit in where, complete little master dissertation and proceed from there. Maybe it cannot be possible for everyone to like have this access to fancy institute, but at that time also I don't get discouraged. Don't be like, if I haven't achieved anything in school days, or if I haven't achieved anything in graduation, I don't have any lab experience, I don't know any professor, I don't know my peers know this, my people living in big cities know this institute, people from this. Don't get discouraged by that. Take step by step. You graduate, you post graduate in your field, in your discipline. And in India, if you want to go abroad, apply abroad. If you get a scholarship, good. If not, then India is not a bad place to do research. It has like pretty good research. People have like come back, established their labs in India with all the facilities that the entire world is having. So basically, it's like one step at a time and not getting discouraged. Having a grit, having a passion. So yes, you'll achieve that thing. And for India doing a PhD, you need to qualify NET JRF. So prepare early for that. It's just the only thing.
Fox, if you haven't heard it carefully, please rewind and take notes. Such valuable advice is not freely available in the market. Anyways, it was an insightful session, Dr. Nidhi. It was impressive learning about evolutionary biology, and I especially enjoyed your detailed explanation with all the energy you had.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you people, Hadrika and Adesh. Thank you.
And there you have it, folks.
All the best.
Thank you
All
so
the best
much.
for your future.
Just one line, and then we'll end it.
Mm-hmm.
And there you have it, folks. Another awesome episode of STEM Expedition. We hope you enjoyed this dive into the world of evolutionary biology. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to stay updated on our future episodes with more brilliant minds from the scientific community. And don't forget to check out STEM Expedition's website for more resources for a curious brain, opportunities for a resume, and information about our upcoming STEM projects. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the wonders of high level science. Till we meet again, folks.